Welcome back, Warner fam. Today, I'm diving into a 2024 thriller, Rich Flew, a suspenseful ride that'll keep you at the edge of your seat. So, keep your eyes wide open and stay safe. The story begins with Laura Palmer, a young, ambitious woman working in the film industry. Every day, she listens to bizarre script ideas, from Earth's overpopulation to plants that think for themselves. She always tries to leave the writers with a good impression, nodding, complimenting, and promising she'll call them back. But deep down, she's growing tired of it all. Her husband, Tony, walks into her office, a man who's been stuck in the past. They've been trying to settle their divorce for months, but it's always messy. Tony talks about their life like it's a script, something he used to write. Yet, no matter what he creates, none of his ideas sell. For years, he's battled depression, and the alcohol only makes it worse. Laura doesn't want to go back to that life. She reminds him of his struggles, but Tony avoids talking about his drinking problem. He can't seem to forget their past, though. He wants their marriage back, especially for their daughter, Anna. The constant arguing has hurt her, and Tony feels the weight of it. But Laura is moving forward. She's got new contracts. Her career's rising, and the future looks bright. Before he leaves, Tony reminds her it's Anna's birthday, a fact Laura barely remembers. She pretends, of course. Once he's gone, Laura quickly orders a cake through her assistant, Christian. Just then, a competitor approaches Laura with exciting news. Snail Sr.'s private jet has just landed. This means he's chosen someone to become a shareholder in his new project, and the competitor thinks it's going to be her. Laura hurries to the reception, but there, she bumps into Snail's son, Sebastian. He smirks and makes fun of her lucky watch, the one she only wears on special occasions. Laura is desperate to know who the jet is for. She had planned to fly to Barcelona to see her daughter, but Sebastian dances around the question. Instead, he brings up the shocking death of one of the richest men in the world. Finally, he admits that his father picked Laura's competitor, so she's free to focus on other things. Laura smiles, hiding her anger, and congratulates her rival on the success. She briefly talks about the film she's about to present, but it's all just a distraction. In the end, the rival stumbles in front of a crowd of reporters, embarrassing herself on live television. Meanwhile, Laura walks away, feeling a small sense of satisfaction with her quiet revenge. On the way home, Tony calls Laura, sounding confused. He mentions the sudden rush for tickets, like everyone needed to travel urgently, like something was wrong. But before Laura can respond, Christian interrupts her with shocking news. Following the deaths of two powerful men, the Pope has suddenly passed away as well. Just then, Laura's phone buzzes. She gets an invitation to board Snail Sr.'s jet, which is headed to Alaska. On board, Laura sits with the billionaire, who seems just as shaken by these strange deaths. These deaths have pushed him higher up the Forbes rankings in a single day. As they talk, Laura can't help but notice the strange, almost unnatural shine of his teeth. It's unsettling. Later, both of them call Anna at the same time to wish her a happy birthday, but the girl avoids the screen. Tony then asks Laura if he can have some time alone with their daughter. Laura, frustrated, responds with legal threats, not ready to give in. Soon, the plane lands in the snowy wilderness of Alaska. Laura steps off and is greeted by Snail's assistant, who hands her fur clothing. She'll have to travel the rest of the way by dog sled. During the cold journey, her guide reveals that Laura will now be in charge of one of Snail's divisions, a job that promises to make her incredibly rich. Laura is taken to a remote settlement where Snail himself greets the new arrivals. He talks about Alaska's first settlers, saying he built the camp to honor the pioneers who made their fortunes with their own hands. He's against laziness and weakness, ignoring slogans about equality and diversity. Snail believes only the rich push the world forward by building industries. That's why he brought the future shareholders here, to remind them that gold belongs to those who are brave enough to face the cold and dig deep into the frozen earth. One of the shareholders, Mr. I, doubts the new project. It doesn't have the financial backing after all, but Snail quickly solves the problem by transferring shares into their hands. No questions asked. Later, Snail speaks with Laura privately. He tells her he's heard a lot about her, but has never met her face to face. They talk about children, and Laura admits that she doesn't understand her daughter at all. Snail gives Laura an important job. She's to attend an auction in London at the royal estate. Her task is to bid the highest amounts to create a big spectacle and get people excited about the new project. The next morning, Laura returns to London, and Mr. I is on the same flight. He confesses he's been sent to Sicily to inspect refugee camps, speaking cruelly about the people fleeing their countries. Laura tries to call her daughter, but she's told Anna stayed over at a friend's house. Something doesn't doesn't feel right. Laura opens a news portal and her eyes widen in shock. The world is in chaos. A strange epidemic is spreading fast, and the richest and most powerful people are dropping dead, one after another. No one can explain why. At the airport, Christian greets Laura. Suddenly, she asks him a strange question. Am I truly rich? She wonders if, for now, she's still just in the middle, still climbing up the ladder. They arrive at the auction, and Laura waits for the perfect moment. Then she announces an outrageously high bid for one of the royal family's lots. Just as things are about to get intense, Anna calls. Laura steps outside to take the call, but as she's talking, she hears screams. The man who had just won a $2 million painting collapses and dies right there, in front of everyone. Chaos erupts in the room. News breaks out everywhere. People are panicking. It's now clear that a mysterious flu is only hitting the richest citizens. The economy is falling apart as the wealthy scramble to protect what's left of their fortune. The disease seems to only affect the upper class, and no one knows how to stop it. Laura begins to feel the weight of worry pressing on her. Suddenly, her mother calls from Spain, telling her that Anna is staying with her because neither Laura nor Tony can fix their problems. Laura resents her mother's interference, but her mother quickly hangs up, leaving Laura more frustrated than ever. Determined, Laura decides to fly to Barcelona. Before leaving, she meets Snail Jr., who is furious about her rapid rise. He feels betrayed. His father hadn't even asked him what his plans were for Laura. Now, Laura is rich, able to buy herself new watches, while his father spent everything on charity. Sebastian had planned ahead and secured his own financial independence. He sneers at his father's decisions, and Laura can't help but notice the eerie, dazzling shine of his teeth. Later, Christian tells her that a state of emergency has been declared, making it nearly impossible to get a flight to Spain. Laura orders him to find her a ticket on any transport. The more expensive, the better. Meanwhile, as she drives through the streets filled with unrest, she calls her business partner from Snail's enterprise. He tells her that she's now much wealthier, but the only way to spend her money is to transfer it to someone else, if she can even find someone willing to take it. At home, Laura gathers all her valuables, but as she does, she realizes something terrifying. Money no longer holds any value. Suddenly, soldiers knock at her door, offering to place her under protection. She pretends to agree, but as soon as they turn their backs, she slips out the fire escape and heads straight to the airport. There, Christian is waiting for her with a ticket for a cargo flight. Before she leaves, Laura unexpectedly hands him some documents. I need to transfer my assets, she explains, because of my divorce. Christian looks at her, understanding the deeper meaning of her gesture, and without saying a word, walks away. The plane takes off, and tension fills the air. The passengers, anxious and uncomfortable, begin to argue. When an elderly woman notices the unnatural glow of another passenger's teeth, she snaps. In the chaos that follows, they accidentally open the aircraft door, and both of them are sucked out into the open sky. Finally, the plane lands in Spain, and it's a different world now. Chaos everywhere. Tony meets Laura and drives her to her mother's village. Along the way, they hit a checkpoint. Officers are checking travelers for signs of infection and searching for any valuables. Laura panics, thinking about the jewelry in her bag, but before they can be stopped, a truck slams into a police vehicle, creating a distraction. Seizing the moment, they quickly escape. Horrifying news floods in. People are hunting down the rich, killing them, and destroying their homes. Everything is burning and exploding. Governments have completely fallen apart. When Tony and Laura finally arrive at her mother's village, Marta greets them, but Laura is upset. Her mother is shocked by Laura's stubbornness. The world is crumbling around them, yet Laura refuses to accept that her life, as she knew it, is over. Laura stays in the village, but the villagers watch her with suspicion. One of her old friends notices her watch and reminds her that she bought it with her first paycheck as a waitress. Meanwhile, a neighbor starts talking about a theory that the virus is moving down the social ladder. He wonders aloud when Laura's turn will come. That night, Laura confesses to Tony just how rich she really is. She tells him that she had been ready to hand over all her assets to Christian. She fears she's already infected and wants to leave. Before she can make a move, a furious mob gathers outside, yelling for the filthy rich woman to leave, taking her contagious family with her. Laura pleads with them to spare Anna and Marta, but no one listens. Then, a friend offers them his boat. The family quickly boards and sails away into the dark night. Marta suggests they head to Tanzania, where she has a friend in the mountains who might take them in for a while. Though it's a long and dangerous journey, they have no other choice. They set course for Africa, sailing peacefully for several days. One night, a storm suddenly hits. Through the howling rain, they hear cries for help and rescue a young woman who has been drifting at sea for 6 days. The moment she wakes up, a blinding light floods the boat, a military searchlight. A patrol boat from the Coast Guard intercepts them. The soldiers act aggressively, roughly inspecting everyone on board. They announce that Libya is refusing to accept refugees and order them to follow. In the morning, the people are brought to shore and told to jump overboard and swim the rest of the way. The family and the rescued girl make it to the beach, where they find a memorial for all the refugees who lost their lives. A plaque tells them they've arrived on the island of Lampedusa. Not far away, a refugee camp is set up, and they head toward it. At the entrance, a checkpoint divides them into Europeans and people from the African continent. Marta tries to explain that the girl is their friend, but she's told that in fact, she's in a better position than newcomers. Later, they find out all connections to Europe have been cut off. Laura tries to remind everyone of her charitable donations, but it no longer matters. There is no food, no medicine, just a struggle for survival. The family enters the camp, where they are recognized by the girl they saved. Now she helps them find a little food and water among her people. Unexpectedly, Laura runs into Mr. I. He tells her that while poor countries are somehow surviving, Europe is burning. He advises her to find shelter and stay inside until dawn. As he removes his mask, Laura sees his teeth gleaming unnaturally. A film with a powerful concept but unfulfilled potential, reminding us of the fragility of societal structures and how the boundaries between rich and poor can vanish if the rules of the game are changed. But will human nature ever change? So, which awesome movie should we recap next? Drop your suggestions in the comments below and let's make it happen. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button so you never miss out on our movie recaps. We've got plenty more coming your way. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Produced by Warner Movie Recaps.